hospital issue. First and foremost, I want to clap and person me born say manners now or standing up for the rights and advocate for the patient, Gone are the days, and I say yes, you share TV series, especially a can drama those days, So hospital scene, Bibia bar. Now nurses, omo acting as nurses, Now hello, Owusi Jennifer, Ebia Bibinia, yes, doctor. In actual fact, that is not the thing, how it happens in the hospital. Nurses and doctors are two different professions. Nurses, we are autonomous body. We are professionals. We are professionals. We are under a professional body. And I'm licensing in Ghana and Nurses and Midwives Council of Ghana. The body of nurses and show myself nurses license. Now physicians, which is doctors, so your physicians and I think surgical board or whatever it is. Into nurse and your doctor akua. Into the nurse hospital doctor throw reports or throw order. Ucho order no medication order no. I know no medication no. What your order natural and the nurse is going to give it. Into the nurse no right to say. So share medication no. Or check bibia and sana. There is medication administration steps. Nurse no so or check it and sana because no yet the final administrator of the medication no. It is the one check it. Even though to say doctor natural no fault to be back no on come wrong medication or no and hope each and every nurse accountable to the actions. Just because your doctor no doesn't give you the you said ubetro medication keke na we to what nurse na or the common medication no or true nurses. The most important part of our job as nurses is delivering quality care, but it goes beyond delivering quality care. There is more to high quality care than knowing diseases is not enough. Nurses also, we act as patient advocates. We advocate for patients. We can help patients by advocating for patients, we help patients make informed decisions regarding their health. But in this case, patient into what your medication even on your medical professional into the doses and all that. Into nurse no come drone on no responsibility sir oboshe. Into so what wrong dose now would nurse you have the nerve to call your dad wo fra wo papa say wo papa mbeye dey no so sebi excuse my language but the truth head penny kwadonto uba fro or hospital why anka it's a near miss. So don't nurse in India doing my colana. Who knows what will happen? One won't be and can't say because Ghana ye per post obinya post your man position kitty be a pursue or obia but a person or abusing the position no National Service Secretariat Director in teacher say you're so big as you have to drive to the hospital. One can say no what do you from I'm sorry sir but papa what do you from Miss Alex Opoku Mensa Mr. Alex Opoku Mensa when who answer one financer to Adiana where we say we'll drive you all the way to the hospital. I was in Yemeni or Koya and say what course did you do in secondary school? Course or was secondary school. What has that got to do? Ubana a mistake. One thing here Abrocha had say doctor ni draw orders now. Yes, you come bibinia who friend who to make correct say maybe Dr. So you wrote this. Is that I think I think the dose is too much. Is that what you meant? Dr. Nukwabeka so I'm very sorry. No, it was an error or it was a mistake. But Ghana no yes like arrogance just say me who obinya position kakra bia pride ekunya medical school pony who were a Choma. I'm sorry, I'm speaking in my language. There is an issue going that happened. I need to explain. I needed to talk in my dialect for my community members. It's about a doctor, a young doctor who is doing her housemanship in the hospital. She wrote a high dose for a pediatric patient. The nurse is the one who is supposed to give the medication, right? So she realized the dose was too high and called the doctor's attention to it. And she being so spoiled, I think she's a spoiled brat. She called her dad, and the dad, not using his emotional intelligence, came to the hospital trying to intimidate the nurse. So that's what I'm talking about. And I'm telling us nurses, we just don't do we just don't deliver quality healthcare. It goes beyond that. Nurses, we are patient advocates. So we have to stand for the patient, make sure whatever we do for the patient is for the interest of the patient and not just there. And gone are the days when they made the nursing profession look as if we nurses are under doctors. Nurses, we don't take the doctors write others, but we are the final administrators of the whatever medication. So we use our critical thinking and our clinical judgment. We use our clinical judgments before we administer medication. Using your clinical judgment, if there is any mistake, you have to call the doctor's attention. Perhaps we are human beings, so we are bound to make mistakes. If a nurse has found a mistake and they are telling you, why do you think you should call your dad and your dad, to not being so smart, came in there to try to intimidate the nurse, telling her, what subject did you do in secondary school? What has that got to do with your daughter made a mistake, which is okay, but the nurse catched it before she delivered the medication to the child, and she draw your attention to it. You should even say thank you and make the correction, right? That's what we do in the hospital. But to call your dad for him to come and try to intimidate a nurse. But I'm so happy the nurse knew her rights and stood by it. Now I hear he's apologizing, which is very silly. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to switch back to my dialect. Inti, sir, who nurse Wahana with him and Pacho passed this video forward. Very important to me. I couldn't just sleep over this. I said, I know a lot of people make video about it, but I'm making it from the point of a nurse. The relationship we create with doctors is interprofessional team. We are interprofessional team, interprofessional relationship, and we don't give a hoot about the doctor. It's all about the patient care. Inti papa the waste the pedestal, so whatever it is, we are that bar, and your hospital nobody would that some or and your hospital nobody would that some or who your mistake. There are medication, we have medication administration steps. The first step is before Obama medication as a nurse or even as a doctor. No, so doctor natural medication now. You say, yeah, go school. We are degree. We have our degrees and our specialty and our masters and all. We have PhDs in nurses, PhD nurses. So we are also professionals and educated, well educated, right? We spend more time with the nurse, even the patients, than the nurses. In critical care, for instance, some doctor Bano Koranta, many patient, me patient, one-on-one or one-on-two. It's me na make a doctor and say, me monitor patients in a BBA. Doctor ni ho. Me na my friends, I can say, be a patient in the condition assistant, be a this and that, right? Into doctor na by you match together. Even though say me scope of practice. Procedures we will have surgery. If the patient needs to be intubated, I am a breathing tube, but my in drone woman. Inti Obia when he failed, I Obia respect you Obia, Bagana no. So I have a bunch of doctors in my family. Inti doctors like we are normal human beings who make a mistake. What so if you all cry, what your medication be 150 milligram, not by mistake. 150 why and 1,500. And since a nurse in the front or catcher say, oh doc, Ebia empo ya high empo ya doctor here from the ebia John, you made a mistake and I be sir, you wrote 150 instead of wrote 1,500 milligram instead of 150. Oh, really? I'm so sorry. Thanks for correct informing me, right? But Ghana no like me just say what you want to say na e run crown when you bufu say ne papa no on nyansa no. I'm sorry, excuse my language, papa no Mr. Opoku Mensa one nyansa adwuma na wodi ye no ankoko intimidatingness no. But let me clap for the next again. On him the rights. To hell with you, because it's not about you. Say, or the drone makola na koleni wuya. This is how they kill people. Wako medical school. Unim said, uya correctional nursing and winning the year together. And to me, point it out to you, because on no final administrator of the hospital of the medication. Let me tell you, there are medication administration steps. Hello, prophetic Emma Joseph, and they may hit into. In maybe because I say correctly, because you are real, how are you doing? Or see, there are medication administration steps. Before doctor na order drone, okay, nurse na drone. I have to first make sure it's the right patient. How do I do that? I have to check the patient's armband. Patient be our armband into Ebia Angelina Bar. May 11th, 1975, right? It's measurement, medication, no? The right name, the right patient, yes. Right medication or right drug. Is it Tylenol I'm going to give? Yes, Tylenol. The right dose. The right dose, when a dose, there are some by the right dose. Now, when it comes to pediatrics, your mom will draw according to me. I'm not a pediatric nurse, but in nursing school, no, we do dosage calculation. You just don't give any medication. You have to calculate their weights. And son, a woman, any, who calculate your drone with their weights, no. I said, the dose now with the bamano. Because in Kola, everyone share easily overdose. No more live an idea, no, so you don't need to say, do black a marcola. Fine. Now we share route near baby drone by say drone obanum orally. Is it going to go orally? IV, subcutaneous under the fat tissue, and I said rectal. Would it sabi would be no two and a bibisa? We share na right time. It will be or high beer. Tylenol. Let's say 150 milligram every 6 hours. Into would demand 6 o'clock. The next time no would don't come and no. Say yes. By 12 o'clock, you can be an hour before, earlier or late, right? There's 1 hour window difference. It's okay. And then after the time, right reason. What is the reason? Why are you giving the medication? If it's Tylenol, maybe akolani will and ask the patient to know a fever. Into a woman a Tylenol, right? That is the right reason. And then when you do all these 7 steps, now that you can't do care without documenting as a nurse. Into right documentation, you have to document. After you document, you observe the patient. I should say, a drone with the man, enya effect. What is the response? Right response. So, in Pakrono, a pain. After a while, it's medication. Has the medication kicked in? Nipa no who tonana. And I say, is there any allergic reaction? Over share waiting. Over monitor patient. Now should the right response, right? So, uko medical school no protocol consider you do going to win share deal said you. Na nurse ni point out at your papa for papa penny quadrant to a big say. No catch the nurse ni say or say learn to be remorseful. Just say words no crow use no crow until I say remorseful. And then why you say so you're remorseful say or you're jealous of Obano. Jealous for what? Right? Or you're jealous of just a papa ne I do acquire and Yansen and Ghanaian Bema Obi Nyakoya right walking to the right to the hospital. Yes, sir. I had your friend policeman cry my handcuff sir. You won't even dare do that. Prophetic Ame Joseph said, thanks. We don't respect our health work. Yeah, internet once necessary now. I was listening to one I think the president of Ghana Nurses and Midwives Council. Also, every year about 400 to 500 nurses are leaving the country, and there's a right of migration, so they will leave. Akotua na ankasa enye na ukọ hospital so a obi so asan be din nsem ho akyɛw. Nurses no omo ya de na enya yaka. Me kura ma ye video about that. But we know enye say safe environment. So obi to me or medical doctor to me friend papa wo mo be din nsem ho sir, what else can he do? So kita bibi no boy ya anko de beba bebo nurse ni tirenku no, and I say we plan kwa. So for Michael Entry, don't call him Mr. Call him a fool. Me just me to didn't attempt to just say yeah man. Oh wait, Jimmy dear with Jimmy papa and then also I didn't be before, but I'm just trying to restrain myself. Maybe I'm able video no more. How dare him? Poor leadership. Into everyone can do whatever they. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Was so into Obama the paga. Akoba from a wafa plane akopaga kodi sensem hu na ukodi ye no. Yes you wa tro bibi wo Facebook page apologize. Sa obi adi nsem hu a obi I'm sorry na ye jana na tra na obi ejimiko. We ejimi complete. Ya first asem me kwa de ya kakra ya nka sabe. Me ka jimi a Facebook omo nim jimi enti omo nya jimi complete. I'll say then you don't she's accountable. Is she accountable to you? Oh, look around, so ignorant. Mr. Opoku Mensa, come here. My Frau, come here for education. You have to come here for schooling. So I want to nurses, I say disappointed science students, referring to the nurse. We are so ignorant. We are very, very ignorant man. Nursing, doctor subordinates. We are professionals. You know why? My nurses in strike. And then there's a hospital, but me a juma. Or see who born dog. Just say, or you so a year or call ye. What is nursing? Nurses, we advocate for nurse, right? Even according to the American Nurses Association, they provide this definition of nursing practice. We advocate for patient as we are the protection. We protect, we promote, we optimize health and abilities, we prevent illness and injury, and then we alleviate suffering through the diagnosis and treatment of human response. Is that not what this lady prevented an injury from happening? Okay, unim nebeto akola no. I say, how can we work together as interprofessional team if Obia betumi a friend ni papa man anasa ni busuani u papa ye national service secretariat inti yenso ne hin u papa ye national service secretariat na ebia wa twetwa whatever protocol de wa ko share eyi unim ade a wo ye as unim duty as a doctor cra or an upcoming doctor cra ka wo say we nya issue a ese wo fra wo papa maneba ono so fra ne papa unim ne obi so wo because they got a position there the unim ono so no contact wo we obia didi so ono so fra ne nimpa bi ono so wo higher than you are, then what happens? Can you imagine the chaos that could ono so be said? So if I also call my dad and he comes here, I say, you are jealous of my daughter, you whatever it is. Like, I see you share the NSS. If I say, Obia, sorry, I know, officer or post Caribbean, no, or your pay. The nurse promotes, as nurses, we promote, we advocate for and protect the rights, the health, and safety of patients. Where is the safety here? This is a safety issue. If the nurse hadn't questioned and given the medication now, it's a safety issue. And who is going to be accountable? It's the nurse. In some sense, you see, like I say, I don't know, one can tell me, hello, POAJ ministry. Our love for our workers is low. Yeah, it is. What's she jealous? Can you ask me again? The body a doctor, she's jealous. No, so what am I jealous for? She's a doctor, I'm a nurse. It doesn't even matter. Uber, I don't know about other countries, but Uber Canada had Mimi Ontario, so I can speak for Ontario. metumi ashatara me scrubs a metumi ashe ko adwuma no cleaner no so betumi ashe the same thing. And obia embu obia nimti obia look down on obi because almost cleaning here, and preventing infection, right? Obia bunimpa. I'm sorry, you see, travel and see. Utu kwayam say what anyo obia, but what obia obia exposed kakra. We utu musa papa yo ignorant. We call disgracing itself. We call exposing ignorance. How can such a person be head of national service? National service is youth. When I did my national service, I was 20 years old. Who dealing with youth? So emotional intelligence cry high. Only self-control, only manners, only disciplined, nothing. Such a person is the head of an institution or an organization. Vera, Obi, so would you a nurse in Wagana? Can you imagine? You see, Manhyia Hospital. Nurse nibi doctor or any housemanship. Wama or what show order medication dose no high. Na nurse no pointed out to her. Niko ko apai, wa friend papa or your National Service Secretariat abaho. Say nimnyo obeye ho obaye no when you unya chance na kotie just say can you or say or see that you she's not accountable to you, meaning the ban or your medicine or your housemanship in accountable to the nurse, or see you are not remorseful, you are jealous of her, like in some say we are nurse and doctor, doctors, we are both professionals. We are under licensed body. And your doctor and a license and that's our training. We use our critical thinking and clinical we use our clinical judgments. My medication, don't you look for the right patient to make sure it's the right patient, the right drug, the right dose, the right route or route, as people will say, the right timing, reason. And then afterwards, you document and you monitor the patient for the right response. Looks like the doctor is not mature call the dad to her work. And the mechanic say, papa your National Service Secretariat Director, it's what Friday Sombra. So be so honest ne papa wonim honest ne obi a wo ne woni busum honest fro obi woni busum Sombra. Aka e hono e de na be ye wo ho. Just but nurse no why she stood for her rights. I said, no. I pointed out to her, and I'm also a nurse. I know my rights. Or your patient advocates. That's what we do. Papa no want him from Mr. Umbrani educating no, yen schooling no. And I don't usually get myself into things like that, but it's about time I say you put some sense in some people, because your mom position there. I almost say they can just do whatever they want, and then thanks to social media, we discipline in a good way. Yeah, but you put you where you are. The way crowd I'm bedi watem ombedu. Me de me bedi watem but me be school. So ubani a doctor undo baby or just housemanship kran or we you can see the protocol no do school because onim your church or next time aya unko shia de ye onim the steps in medication administration anka undi se hu na odi ye no ensa anko friend papa ambassa ne papa mbeyeden in like one the patient and families most of the time are anxious. A calm, experienced nurse can help patients navigate an unfamiliar system and communicate with their physicians. We communicate with the physician. If a patient comes to the hospital, a new environment for you, we are anxious. You are all familiar with the place and everything. So you need a calm nurse, an experienced nurse. I'll help you to navigate through the, only doctor not communicating, which is very important. It's all about the patient. We are done about Snefia na di with that basam, but when you come to the hospital, you did that basam, you so say in some moon so. Nurses, we as nurses, we also educate the patient about tests and procedures, right? That's part of preserving human dignity. And then we should, as nurses, we should be aware of how culture and ethnicity can affect the patient's experience while also adhering to privacy laws. Like, we have a lot of role to play. Advocacy, we advocate for the patient, which the nurse did in this case, the Manhyia nurse did. We preserve human dignity, right? We help the patient navigate through the unfamiliar situation, no. Any doctors, no. It's in interprofessional relationship. That's what we do. It's based on respect from nurse interprofessional relationship. Nurse is a profession, the physician is a professional body. Pharmacist, OT, occupational therapist, physio, and all that. We liaise with each other, all for the betterment of the patient and not anybody else's interest. Into what papa so on the honestly answer, Nitiko what to carry walk hospital say is yours, you think you can control me? Papa ni nyasa bako. Alex Oboku Mensa, I one onim nyasa bako. Maka. Who's that? Well, can you imagine my Ajoya boy? We are that about here. No one can be that about while working for the nation. Thank you. Yeah, we are that about now fear here for home. So protocol you call yours, then you only know all yet. Only all yet. Come friend per se, none of the show him answer. So Bunny in Nyansa, whoop upon shooting answer. Waba. Nurses, as nurses, we are unique in positions that allow us to integrate all aspects of patient care. We integrate all aspects, and then we ensure that concerns are addressed. So we will ensure that standards are upheld, the standard of care is upheld, and positive outcomes remain the goal. Positive outcomes. So if this patient didn't preserve the child's dignity by observing all these things I've mentioned now, and by now you better sorry for but Ghana so BBC excuse me research investigation baby yes na dianka obi nurse feeling intimidated or that doctor now and could now medication but this nurse knows what she's doing. She knows her scope of practice and why she's there or advocating my patient. No, to prevent any harm, do no harm. She didn't do any harm. She didn't just give the medication. That could have caused a harm. That could have caused a great harm to the Akwano. Hello, Auntie. Yeah, for that. We all learn. Like people make mistakes. This thing happened here. Now there is a medication, so we have difficulty breathing. Steroid, corticosteroid. Your friend is stolen Medrol. It comes like 100 milligrams in a vial. Doctor no wanted 150 milligram. No. By mistake, 1500 milligram or 1500 milligram, which is 1500. It's my dear friend who ordered and say, "Kai, this is this cannot be." Into a friend doctor, no say, Doctor so and so. I think there is a mistake. You got 1500, which is 1500 milligram. Is that what you actually want me to give? Oscars, oh no, I'm so sorry. It's a mistake. I meant to write 150 milligrams. It's doctor by Ebe. Is that a big deal? I woke up for papa. So this thing has to be followed up. But Ghana and BBC me, what I came to tell you is that nursing is a profession. We are not the doctor's subordinates. They write the orders. That's their scope of practice. We don't prescribe medication. But we have the final check before we give the medication. We follow steps. We don't just give because you order. We've also gone to school. We use our clinical judgment, and so if we are the final eye before we give the medication. If there's anything, we have to draw your attention. We know. I won't give any medication. You can jump the sea if I feel say I am wronger, because I am holding me responsible. Each nurse, I don't know Ghana, but we do primary care. And see, if I go to hospital, I have my patient for the 12 hours, unless my patient dies or my patient gets discharged or moved to another unit. I have the patient for 12 hours. When I'm going for break, I will give report to my body to just cover up for me while I'm on break. Until for the topic, I started a topic on who is your friend and choose friend yesterday. And I wanted to continue. I was scrolling through Facebook. Let me who said Kofi TV program B. A doctor in Manhyia Hospital. She is a young upcoming doctor who is doing her, I think after 4 years or so, the next 2 years they do their housemanship. So they go to the hospital to do clinicals. So she went and she wrote a medication for a pediatric. And the nurse realized the dose was too high. So she called her attention for her to correct the dose, change the dose. And this bat called her dad because or your dad boss or whatever it is. Ne papa so National Service Secretary Director Kumasi teacher said he is sitting on a pedestal. Ghana there obinya post kakra bia na ntia ho. Ofra ne papa na ne papa bae. Oba attacking nurse ni say who born dog. You envy her. Nurse ni envy ni bano. I could have brought her results, SHS result or whatever it is. Is she accountable to you? Learn to be remorseful. Like a whole lot of so they are called the Nurses and Midwife Council. Almost fresh say that man has to be removed from his position with immediate effect. I don't know, me draw a video and say nurses right to say you're advocating for patients. It's not about the doctor or whoever it is. Obi doctor is good. Yes, we are doctor, you're nurse, we are all professional. We have to learn to respect each other. How about now we can say cleaner who the difference? Because we all work together. Right? We respect each other. We are in the 21st century. Your mentality, we have to unlearn to relearn. Like, we are doctor, but people position out the one. I don't know. And me catch them say, Lady Naya, the nurse Naya, I say a man. She stood for her rights. Said, why am I just of her? I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, she's a doctor. She made the wrong, she wrote the wrong dose, and I was only trying to bring her attention because she can't give medication. Who made a drone baby sia? Who now who bachelor because we say work with school. Who name say medication woman a too high. And Columbia or medication. You can't just give medication to any child. Even Tylenol or paracetamol, paracetamol is not so innocent as we see it. If you give too much, it's going to cause liver intoxication, even in adults. When you are in the hospital, Tylenol, we have with Tylenol. I'm not a friend paracetamol. No. Even adults like me and you, we can take more than 4,000 milligrams in 24 hours. A maximum of 4,000 milligrams, which means key. Oh, Ghana, no humility, whatsoever, no accountability. What about the patient overdose? Yeah, let me can say, Auntie, you're so ignorant and foolish. Hey, Facebook is blocking it. Yeah, quiet, what to say? Papa, I dream be anything. What good to get? No accident. Woman go say, or kidness in Say, or you're jealous. Auntie, your mentality just say, Ubani be doctor inti or ye higher than nurse ni and I say ye kukrumni ne beswa undu unye yempo unje wu le say license in yempo ni we are no be no wonder say mo ba ha ye fam result in ye shi we ba ha e friend say personal support worker nyanye because when she protocol be dey na show only the left from the right. And I don't think this is the first one, but when about Abonti, thanks to social media, maybe say me I don't do beef and all that. No, I don't know beef commissioners no home yet, but in Myanmar, when it comes to health and in Myanmar, about say harm, injustice in the healthcare system, media, I will turn on the camera and speak about it. This is not what I wanted to do, but I need to do this. Nurses here, you have the nurses too. You have to upgrade yourself all the time and know your rights. I think I don't know if all of them could have stood up for themselves, know what they are about. So who name right and papa will be intimidated too quick now and can you end up saying sorry? Sorry for what? Remember when it comes to when nurses, doctors, even if it's the CEO of the president or the president of the hospital, don't give a damn about anybody. It's about the patient. You are there, you are all there, you coordinate for the well-being of the patient. The patient is the patient. Your patient is the reason why you are all there. Right? The patient and family is the reason why you are there. Nobody should intimidate you or anything like that. A patient no na uba advocate for mo. Uye na enye ya, usha na be intimidated wa. Nti na wo licensing body or nurses and midwives council. Don't just come and talk to social media and go. You have to go through the right channel. Ebi oho procedure na be take longer. But I said, use you as a scapegoat. Now, Father, so can't work here at. Can you imagine? God will punish him. God will punish. Now, because I will paga, go play na kopaga. Echo this and huna ukodi wo. Let me see if I can even play a little bit. Oh, yes. Now he is apologizing because people are calling for his resignation. But Ghana, look at us anyway. No, your friend is saying, Alex Opoku mensa, shame on you. I don't do this, but in some no yadosu. Shame on you. This is the man. I don't even. This is him. Penito to say, "Nancy be in it." Look at that. Even the background can say that, please. Go back and answer the same. Learn to respect. We are go one. Respect is reciprocal. You the penny no when answer at to car. So we buy to Nessa correct me to wait to car for say learn to respect your purpose until your purpose. Your purpose so yeah and so what? Papa Penny what behavior? Look at that. Who bond up? Papa wouldn't answer. Yeah, emotional intelligence is zero. His emotional intelligence is zero. Until has she run away from the patient? This man is so illiterate and ignorant. What do you mean by has she run away from the patient? He has already ordered the medication. So if the nurse hadn't checked the dose and everything, hasn't gone through the steps in medication administration, something would have happened. Where yes, or you're head of director of National Service Secretariat, such a person. National Service is mainly young adults, right? What is this one going to teach them? Onakasa no emotional intelligence in the gutters. Yes. You remember what you about so? Oh, advocacy for the patients, you know. And you talk to them brutally on phone. Well, you said that what she told you, and what you have executed what? Who you penny? Who papa? You told me I envy her. Yeah. Look at that. Envy her for what? Envy her for what reason? Yeah. What? You know who want to go to car about? Who you penny? Who papa? You see, this man is so ignorant. He has to be remorseful. But some of you are some people who are kind. Of course, you have every right to question. You have every right. That's why you are there. You have every right. Don't let anybody intimidate you. This man is very wash. Penny Jane say, we penny won't go a better than a collaboration. What will Banner catch us that is that Banner will say, we are penny one year. Wash. That lady is very nice. But in a woman, someone else from Papa was stupid. If you see the self-reverend you your child, yeah, the doctor for medical negligence. But here, or you're about for. No, this man is no. He has to be he has to. Fired from his position as the National Secretary Director of Ashanti Region. Obania 88. Respect is reciprocal, yes. If you have to respect her first. In the first place, you drove all the way because when you be there, your office when you left your office, your work, you left your desk to drive all the way to Manhyia Hospital to misbehave. Right. You are the national. You know who I am. Now, why look is Ghana call you daddy? Ghana no rights. I know. Oh, like this, it's 28 minutes. I can't play all it. But when you Google Ashanti NSS Director Alex Opoku Mensah attacked a nurse in Manhyia, it will be there. It will be there. It will be there. Like nurses as a profession, we have the freedom from suffering. Nurses, we either enter the profession because we enter the profession because we have a desire to help others. If you can be a nurse, a good nurse, if you don't have the desire to help others, right? Classic. Do you know? Adebakwaya may sign that word. And do you know who I am? If you were somebody, don't you think we will know who you are? I don't know who you are because you are nobody. I don't know who you are because you are nobody. If you are somebody, I would know who you are. You don't need to tell me, do you know who you are? Anyway, the core value of Auntie Yapukona. Yeah. Do you know who I am? Can you imagine? As nurses, we achieve helping others, right? We manage the suffering of people significantly, and we achieve that at the physical management of suffering, emotional and psychological level. We do all of that, right? Psychological level, we need chronic kasa, physical. So we pray na bibia we ebia physical no say bia we pray na bibia we cleaning no up, we say no crony idea. We do all that, and one of the most important aspects of patient care, that the psychological level is one of the most important aspects of patient care. We do it. So nursing profession should be available for patients and their families as advocates for their well-being. We advocate for nurses, for the patients and the family's well-being, which is what the nurse did no. Into work with now penning toto where obi cancer ho chira wa yesi nkolembu ade osu kra wu jira wumbu ho. So how to be an advocate? If you are a nurse here and you are listening to me, please be an advocate. Do not allow anybody to intimidate you when you go to work. Nurses are advocates we are advocates for our patients in several critical ways. We are communicators. As advocates, you should be able to communicate. This is what she did. She communicated her concerns. We are communicators. We are liaisons. We liaise. We are in between the nurse, the doctor, and the patient, and other interprofessional bodies. What am I talking about? Let's say I have a patient who has been bedbound for a while, and I feel like he or she is wasting away because they are not up and walking. I have to I have to notify the physio, write a note like for the doctor to order physiotherapists to can see and do passive range of motion exercises with the patient, right, to help move the the muscles and stuff, like to make the joint flexible, because if somebody doesn't move for a while, they waste away and their joint becomes very stiff. So they will do the passive exercise and all the raise the legs and all that, right, to make the patient still flexible. That's what we do. We communicate, we liaison, we are educators. Nursing is not just about cleaning poop. We go to school, I think Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association, I was talking to my mom yesterday, they still do auxiliary nursing. They have to cancel that and just do degree nursing, because if you come to Ontario, I don't know about other province, you cannot become a nurse right now. You have to be a degree. Have the degree right now. The basic entry level is a degree in Ontario. I don't know about the other province. I'm in Ontario, so I can only speak for Ontario. Into more raise the bar no for nursing no in Ghana no. And it's no be a sort of fee say me I can in some home be a pay. Not my profession in demo, because it's a noble profession. We do more than just cleaning. The cleaning aspect is good. That's what Florence Nightingale did with the war veterans. So prevent infection. So infection control is important, but it goes beyond with all this. We do more than that. So we are educators. We have nurse educators. We have masters, doctorate, and all that. We are interpreters and caregivers. Interpreters, Obiba Hospital, Sabia, Obiaba Hospital. The person doesn't speak English, but maybe I can be the interpreter for the person. If I'm on duty, I can do that, volunteer to do that. So a career in nursing entails filling multiple roles. We have a lot of multiple roles. We provide quality care and strive for healthy outcomes for all patients. That's what you do as a nurse. Know your role. That's why I say Ghana nurses I said nursing is not just about Mushia Montare na moto. I mean, it's my opinion. No. I don't even remember the last time I gave an injection. We usually do IV here. And if I have to do insulin and a baby, that's the most. But educate yourself. We all have internet on our computers, data. Ignorance is this is an excuse. Look, read peer-reviewed articles and stuff like that. So if you meet an ignorant person like this, you can stand for your rights. You know what you're about. When you're advocating for your patient, you know what you're doing. Don't just leave the education at where it's ended in class. Continuing education is very important. Here we do quality control. College of Nurses of Ontario. You'll be there and then they will write you, they will like quality control. What have you been doing and all that they ask you because they want you to continue studying. Education doesn't end after the training. You have to, because things change. Research is ongoing. So something that was, let's say, a diagnosis and the treatment could change. There could be an improvement, right? It is a you can't really stand for yourself and the patient. God bless you, your heart for anti-tox shows for supporting our health workers. You are jealous. You are jealous of her. Mindset changes required. Yes, Auntie, you are jealous of her because she's a doctor, upcoming doctor. The mindset. Please, so I am Mungo for Auntie. Auntie talks about life issues, mindset, and all this. Auntie book corner. Next year, she's coming up with being unapologetically you, right? That's what I'm learning to do now. I've learned a lot of things from Auntie and a whole lot of people on Facebook. Being apologetically you. I can't wait for that book because I want to be apologetically me. I know my mindset has changed. I don't give a hoot so long as I know I'm doing the right thing. I don't care what you think. I don't live my life to please nobody. I do what is good by me, and I care about the emotions of others. But being a people pleaser, no. Famous saying, what are the women? Greetings from Germany. For what to say? I know. Even a National Secretariat, whatever, the National Service Secretary, the rate to be a Shanty Region in Humbine. No, when you're other city call hospital, air command nurse need warning because never actual wrong medication dose, nurse no point it out. Ni mistake, papa wa friend papa just said that papa no so when you say to the car him shishim alcohol said nurse ni jealous in the Ghana. Obviously, Chrome has said nurses, so we make informed decision, right? That is one of the most basic ways that nurses can be advocates for their patients is ensuring that they have the right to make decisions about their own health, especially if a patient is alert and competent. Like if a patient is alert and competent, we help them make informed decisions. We don't allow people to be themselves. We want to tell others how to live. It's not how to live. It's not right. And so, yeah, it's not right. You tell her, oh, do own Manhyia. She doesn't need to own Manhyia because before she can advocate for the patient. What do you mean by do you own Manhyia? So much as a papa could go when he must or been tagging my sombra and be idea. I'm so tired. I need to go to sleep. I couldn't sleep without making this video. If a patient is competent, we help them to make informed decisions. But this is a child. And unfortunately, I don't know if the parents were there. You're right. You call hospital. Okay, yes, doctor. And I said, yes, nurse. Nurse is no. I don't know what is going on. How, if that was the practice. My son was sick. He went to the hospital. Before he went, I told him, I said, if you go and anybody tries to start an IV and give you IV fluid, ask questions. Do not allow them. He said the moment he heard the nurse said, I'm going to give you IV, me come on IV. No, besides said, now, mama IV fluid for them. IV fluid, I mean how nurses practice in Ghana, but IV fluid is a medication. Doctors orders IV fluid, and IV fluid is not just it has electrolyte and all that, and some have potassium and sugar and salt and stuff like that. Some are mixtures, right? To come obi IV for what? I asked my mom before because she's a retired nurse, and she said that was a practice sometimes, some years back, right? They had have a blissful day. And thank you, Prophetic M. Joseph. First, no, some nurses no practice. No free say be about hospital most of the time. I am before you dehydrated into no more IV fluid. But that practice, no, na make us say you guys have to learn. You have to study, continue studying. Send ube abreast with time. Even so, hospital and send you for year. Chiesika na educate you. Send and I say, to me, Chiesika, website na. I don't know about my organization, Registered Nurses Association of Ontario. We have it. I think the Ghanaian Health Education will have something to, but I'm packing kind. Into your school, and honest, my ministers, me be walk pandie. Obi aba hospital, unya blood work, if you so you're dehydrated. Won't check any blood pressure. Do you know, say, if you have high blood pressure, it could give you a headache. So if somebody comes and they are complaining of headache, probably their blood pressure is too high, and giving them fluid, IV fluid, you're going to even increase their blood pressure high because blood is made up 80 to 90% of our blood is made up of water. So people hospital the blood pressure low. Your man IV fluid to bring it up. Your friend IV bolus, right? Fluid resuscitation. The mom. It is so niti and the blood pressure high. Won't check the blood pressure crowd would ensure basis so. So who go hospital no be the ensure basis so questions. What kind of fluid? Why am I getting this? We don't ask questions too, so we allow anything to happen in the hospitals. My daughter went to see. I have a lot of sons and daughters. One of my daughters called me and she said, "Mom, can you order me? Can you prescribe some medication for me?" And I said, "I'm not a doctor. I don't prescribe medication. I'm not even a nurse practitioner. I don't prescribe medication. Nurses need to be other doctors and nurse practitioners. If I want to be a nurse practitioner, I have to go back to school for another 2 years, right? Yes, then I can prescribe some medication." Now me say my mo be am prescribing medication be am koye blood work ade kro na ye no na ye ni memu me say koye thyroid function test omo hwe ansana or the result mbra it was okay. Now me say my mo be am medication me mom me ka se koto dro we kra me boa my mo be am nti mo so mo ma medication no under no ho prescribers no munjai. Your son is a doctor, he's not an ordinary person, so he knows far better than many of Ghana for Ghanaian nurses. Yeah, I said don't. So he asked questions. So beside question, was that no by mama IV fluid? Na fi uhuni onka. Inti musu share there. So who share there? Ube to meaning for interrupting or you have your confidence when you are advocating for your patient. You can't advocate for your patient if you don't know your left from your right. You can't advocate for a patient. You know, see, this nurse knew what she was talking about. It's a one-man coin or prevent harm from happening. This should be an even incident report. That doctor cries so much incident reports. The College of Physicians should hear about this. I'm not even sure if she has license. Yes, I don't think so. So go back to the classroom. No question there more. Yeah, you have to. I could share real. The patients about even they don't ask questions. Be some questions. Menaces no so man can say, what do you think you know? Every patient knows themselves better than you. You don't live in their body. Into nurses, ne doctors, no so Biba hospital, especially nurses no mo first. Mama can say na ade unim nia ha wanka oba ha. Unim nia ha no into no ba ho no. Into mo so some of you are so rude and it's uncalled for. The nurse did very well. I clapped for her and I will still clap for her. Anka but me akolan kra bit me ayeyi ewu, right? Anka akolan bit me. So when we have to help make informed decisions, especially if a patient is alert and competent. I bet me abuano no na mamu use big terms, layman's English. There's some we use. Nurses, we should take the patient's decision seriously. If the patient is competent, it's Ebola. If even if the patient declines to take certain medication or refuses a treatment, we should take it seriously. And when a doctor doesn't agree with the informed decision, the nurse has a responsibility to provide information to the patient. The nurse has a responsibility to provide information so the patient can make informed decisions and to offer support. Let's say a patient has gone to the hospital. They're boundful. A daddy's girl, always a daddy. In this case, we don't care what she's a daddy's girl, whatever she is. It's about patient safety, not if she's a daddy girl, she should stay home. No, when you come to the hospital, oh, papa, you're the president of a then cry. Mama, positions and all that, no entry, baby. I don't understand this language. Oh, Shema, that's why I explained at the beginning to you. I'm so sorry. I said there was an incident that happened. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or early this morning. Between a nurse and an upcoming doctor who is doing a housemanship. I think after 4 years at the university, they have to go for clinicals, right? It's called housemanship. So this young upcoming doctor wrote a medication order, and the dose was too high for a pediatric. The nurse called her attention to the high dose for correction. She was upset, too proud to accept her mistake and make correction, which is the norm. There's nothing wrong in making mistakes. We all make mistakes as humans. What did she do? She called her dad, who has zero emotional intelligence. He drove to the hospital to try to intimidate the nurse, telling her who is she, who does she think she is. She's jealous of her daughter because she's a nurse and his daughter is a doctor, right? And like he was using a whole lot of unflattering words. That's what I'm talking about. That nursing is a profession. Nurses are not under doctors. We work as in professional bodies. And after all, nurses even spend more time with patients than the doctors. If there is anything, the doctors come and write their orders, or if they have to do a procedure, after the procedure, they leave, write the orders, and they leave. We, the nurses, are the ones who monitor the patients and see if something is happening. Then we call the doctor's attention to come. But we are the ones who I spent 12 hours with my patient. Even yesterday, I saw the doctor briefly, and there was nothing wrong with my patient. So he left. He said, is there anything you want me to do? I said, no, he's okay. And he left. I spent 12 hours with my patient. So I even know the patient more than the doctor. And there should be respect respect between the disciplines. Nursing is a discipline, medicine is a discipline. We work together. Nurses don't take all the when the doctor writes an order. We have steps in medication administration. You first have to check if it's the right patient. How do you do that? Every patient has an armband, so you check if the name on the medication corresponds with the name on the patient's hand, so you don't give the medication to the wrong patient. These days, we even scan the medication against the patient's armband, so it prevents a lot of mistakes from happening. Also, you have to check if it's the right medication. Let's say if it's Tylenol, I'm not giving aspirin, right? You have to check if it's the right dose, which is what this nurse did, and found that the doctor wrote the dose was too high, and she was trying to draw her attention to correct the medication, and she just foolishly called her dad, who came and didn't use his common sense. He shouldn't have even come there in the first place. I was asking if it was like a long distance, would he drive or take a flight to go there and misbehave? Also, you have to check the route where the medication is going, if it's an oral order, IV, rectal, or whatever it is, right? You also have to check the time. Every medication has its time. The doctor might say, give Tylenol 650 milligrams every 6 hours, right? So if I gave it at 6 o'clock, the next one is due at 12. but I can give myself 1 hour window before or after. So I can give the medication around after 5 or after 6 o'clock or around 7, right? That's the 1 hour window. So I'm just saying all this to educate to let nurses know their rights and not be intimidated by any doctor or whoever they think they are. In our culture and our society, you are Nigerian, so I think you also know when people have a little bit of position, they think they are on top. They want to use that position to intimidate everybody who they think is beneath them. He asked the nurse, do you know who I am? I don't care who you are. If you were that important or that renowned, I would have known. Queen Elizabeth, may she rest in peace, or King Charles is not going to ask anybody, do you know who I am? Because we all know who he is, right? So it's people who have inferiority complex and they never expected to be where they are. That's when they get a little bit of position, they want to fly. They want to fly, like show their wings. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am syndrome? We don't care who you are. When we go to the hospital, it's about the patient safety. Nobody else matters. The patient safety is the most important thing. So that's what I'm talking about, Chioma. The doctor needs more training, supervision. Patient outcomes are at stake here. It is a serious matter, but until you know the seriousness of it. Akola way and can be to me, your flexing our muscles. Do you know who I don't know who you are because you are nobody, and I don't care to know who you are. I don't care to know who you are. It's not about you. Well, sorry, Kiki. Oh, would you more serious coordinator, a director, or would you maybe and control the car from the office? I say you needy. And call hospital and could misbehave. Now hospital one also Mama allow no. To say I wouldn't be surprised say a friend on Rabumpo. Race with the old three. Hey, serious, so you know this will not happen at your workplace. Naga no why are you lucky? You know your body, but me and Kajumam didn't know. I can next time on you. Thanks for your help and support. Yeah, so you have to advocate for your patients, even if it's the CEO of the hospital. Once you are doing the right thing, don't let anybody intimidate you or push you over. You have to make the patient your priority. You have to make the patient is our priority when it comes to the hospital. The nursing ethics involved in patient advocacy can make for complex situations. It makes an example is if a patient is dealing with a terminal illness, for instance, family members may disagree about care. They may disagree about care, right? Although patient may only want comfort measures. Oftentimes, their loved ones seek strategies that can prolong life. So we have to if a patient doesn't want something and even the family wants it, I'm just talking about the whole thing. If patient doesn't want a procedure, like these days, because of advancements in technology, a lot of people are living long, but the quality of life is poor. Sometimes the patient might say, I don't want any resource, any further treatment. I just want comfort care, but for some reason the family will insist you have to do everything for the patient. The patient need a competent. So patient now your priority. You go by the patient. Ethics. Some complicated, but so we take the side of the patient. So long as competent or which may making a decision. Thanks for your help and support. God bless everyone for joining. Yes, God bless everyone for joining us today. Patients na your priority. Nurses, that's what nurses do. Make the patient your priority. Advocating is about standing up for the rights of your patient and firmly defending them, even if you personally may not agree. So you have to stand for your patient and advocate for them. Personal feelings or preferences are put aside. This doctor, young upcoming doctor, once said onim nyansa, simple onim nyansa, so call for emotional intelligence or attach it to the professional way because we could deal with patients. We be or behave like a and grade 2-year-old to call your dad. Minti be crada. Girl, no, whatever, whoever she is, no, here, emotional intelligence course. They say, obi, ye, no, omu training, no, and sana will come out, will pass out as a doctor, no, because emotion, and I don't crowd who is even going to train a child. Papa, the crowd, girl, the crowd, Yansa was so ne papa ninti. As some I'm, yeah, but case is serious, so case is serious. So nurses and also my catch them say continue your nursing education. Or a year diploma, try say obey, go further. Now read. There are a lot of peer. Don't go to Google and take information from Google. Sign up to peer-reviewed nursing sites, right? And then read latest research in nursing diagnosis and care and the nursing care plan and things like that. So when you are speaking now, you speak with confidence and people will know, say, you know what you're about. You won't let anybody come and push you over. Namunjaisa, na honorableness, say, all that, no. Because if somebody obi position requires a friend honorable, yes. But Sankro for now, munya post kitibia, no more person be intimidate you, no. Don't let anybody intimidate you. Remember, the patient is your priority. I mean, leave you. I have to try and see if I can get a rest before I get up and go back to work. So thanks to everyone who came. Manhyia, thanks for your contribution. Prophetic M.A. Joseph, also for my entry. Augustine also and son. Queenie, Roxy, Jawu Collins, Manhyia for the Shioma. I hope I summarized everything for you. Edward Stewart, the day you're more awaited, and everybody. I appreciate all of you for coming to listen. I hope this video will go to the places it needs to go, especially for my fellow nurses. Mama nurse doctor be intimidating mo or shame white coat no be nam ho omonyo modwuma yeso mo ye don't feel yes doctor yes sense hu na mo hu wo I can't drama money other things no yes that is not how it works unya wo ya respect obi respect who respecting be respect is reciprocal mo be am be intimidate you because of your doctor and as any papa ye CEO or whatever it is oba manu hu say woni mo right. Chani so will be Jumedi and Consori pam into the car ember office. Shame on you, Alex Opoku Mensa. I think I'm done with mine. I'm for sure trust a video amount. Next time, Roberto will do what As Patak would say. Bye bye.